Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. For today, I have a very exciting video because I have successfully bonded my herd of 5 guinea pigs. The first time around, it failed. It did not work out, but this time it was like a true success, and I really want to share with you all what I did different, how I made them bond, what worked, my whole experience, and I'm just so thrilled that they bonded, so let's go ahead and get into everything. So first off, I'm going to provide a little background for those who may be new here. If you are new, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I do want to provide some background on these guinea pigs that I bonded successfully. So who I was bonding was a pair of guinea pigs and a trio of guinea pigs. So in my pair, I had a neutered boar and a female, and my trio was 3 females. So I was attempting to create a neutered boar female herd, which from what I've heard is one of the best guinea pig groupings you can have. And the first time around when I tried this exact same bond about 4 or 5 months ago in January, it failed horribly. I will insert some clips, but there were a ton of launches, a couple tornadoes, and in the end, blood was drawn on not 1, but 2 of the guinea pigs in the herd that I was trying to bond. So I put them on pause. I created a side-by-side living arrangement for them. And then this past weekend, I attempted again and I had success. So I want to share with you all what I did different that I think helped my guinea pigs bond better this time around. So number 1 was that I actually used a smaller bonding space. So typically when you bond guinea pigs, at least from what I've heard, you want to make that bonding pen as big as possible, give them space to get away from each other, give them space to spread out. But I tried that the first time and I gave them a bonding pen that was around 30 square feet. And I think it was just too big. Looking back on all the footage I have from that bonding, there was a lot of chasing going on, and with such a large pen, they were able to just keep chasing and chasing and chasing. And also, in that large pen, since I was bonding 5 guinea pigs, they can pair off into separate groups and have disputes at the exact same time. So on one side of the pen, I might have 2 girls chattering at each other, preparing to maybe launch. And then on the other side of the pen, there might be my neutered boar and another female. It's really chaotic and everything's happening at the same time. And me only being one person trying to manage this bonding with my 1 dustpan in hand, I can't really break up both fights at once. So the big space, I just don't think it worked the first time around. They also were able to just spread out and completely sleep like up to like 8 to 10 feet away from each other. And this means that they were so distant, they weren't able to actually bond. They were just mutually ignoring each other, which is not a bond. That's not how they get along. Mutual ignoring is not going to help your guinea pigs bond. They need to actually be okay to be near each other. So this time around, I actually halved that bonding pen and I bonded all 5 of them in only 16 square feet. Now, if you're going to bond in a smaller space like I did, I do recommend making it like a square shape. So I did a 3x4 bonding pen with my 14-inch grids. That's 16 square feet. And because it was like a square shape and not a long rectangle, they were still able to pass by each other really well. And also a smaller bonding pen meant that I could control everything that was going on. So I had a dustpan, as always, to break up any really bad fights. And so with the smaller pen, I was definitely able to pay more attention to be right where the drama and the disagreements were happening, versus the larger pen, I had to like go back and forth. So the smaller pen was definitely a huge key for me to have this work the second time around. I will also say, when there was a dispute happening, everybody else was kind of watching it. So if 2 of the pigs were having a dispute, the others were observing them, and then they could see how that was resolved, and that would kind of tell them the hierarchy that they had to establish. I know I'm going into some very in-depth guinea pig bonding stuff, so if you are a first-time bonder, I definitely recommend watching some intro bonding videos so you sort of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But when you put all of your guinea pigs together, they have to establish a new hierarchy. So with all 5 of them, their old hierarchy that they had in their separate groups, it's basically scratched, and they have to start over and build a completely new one. Of course, maybe your dominant female in one group and the dominant in the other, like they're probably going to be fighting for that main dominant position, but everything has to be resorted. They have to figure out where they stand in that new group. So I will be showing you guys the footage from this bonding, and I will be comparing it to my first attempt. That way you can kind of see the differences. But number 1 tip is to do a smaller pen. If you tried it in the bigger pen and it caused issues and you felt out of control, try to do a smaller pen. I will also say that I think in my specific case, the side-by-side living that I did prior to the bond really helped. The first time around, they were basically strangers to each other. They had lived on top of each other, like in a stacked cage, not beside. So not only was this a first introduction, it was also a stressful situation with the bonding. So the side-by-side meant that they could get used to each other. They could learn that the others are not a threat, and aren't just some stranger there to like invade their space. They already know who they are. They've been near them for a long period of time. And I think that helped my group. I have also had successful bonds where I didn't do side by side. So I will say I don't think side by side is necessary for a successful bond. If it fails the first time around, but you think they have compatible personalities, I would say do side by side and then do a second attempt. I also will say all 5 guinea pigs that I bonded successfully were guinea pigs that I have bonded multiple times before. So I know their personalities very, very well. It's not like I brought home some new guinea pigs and then had to sort of figure it out as I went. All 5 of them I've had for over a year now. I know all their personalities very, very well. So I was sort of able to know what to expect going into the bond. Tip number 3, this was really difficult for me the first time around, is to stay calm. I know I've heard this advice from so many people, and personally, as a generally anxious person, it can be really difficult for me to stay calm during a bonding because I'm worried that my pigs are going to get injured. I'm worried something's going to go wrong. I'm emotionally invested. I want them to get along, but you just kind of have to emotionally distance yourself from the situation, which can be a little tricky if you're an emotional person, and it definitely took me a while to be able to do that. But when I was observing the bond, I really was looking at it from an analytical approach, and you'll be able to see this in all the footage. I was just completely zoned in on my pigs, dustpan in hand, and I was just watching them. I was watching their body language, I was watching their reactions, and that was all I was doing. I was watching and I was categorizing, I was analytically thinking, you know, how are they reacting to each other? What kind of body language are they giving? What does that mean? Are they going to de-escalate this fight on their own? Should I step in? Just like no emotion behind it. I wasn't thinking about, oh, what if someone gets hurt? Like, no, if someone gets hurt and you are, as long as you are there watching, you will be able to interrupt before things get bad. And you know, bites heal, wounds heal. If you're there to interrupt it before, you know, they really start tornadoing and getting into it, your pig is not going to get seriously injured. There is potential, but if you are there watching, that just decreases significantly when you can interrupt them and make sure things don't get bad. So knowing that I had that handled, I took that emotional aspect out of it and I just observed. And like I said, I know them very well at this point. I was very in tune with their body language. So that definitely helps a lot. If you haven't done a lot of guinea pig bondings, it can be kind of difficult to know their body language. I do think I want to do a video on guinea pig bonding body language to sort of help you all out for bondings, because that is definitely one of the steepest learning curves. But I would say that definitely also really, really helped this bond succeed. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the footage of the bonding, and I'll sort of take you guys through the first hour, which is kind of the most crucial moment for your bonding, and then 3 hours later, and also 7 or 8 hours later into the night. I did leave them in the pen overnight, and this is a huge thing that I recommend to anyone bonding their guinea pigs. This is going to be like an all-day event. Prepare for this to be an all-day thing. When you put them in the pen, leave them in there overnight. You're going to want them in the pen overnight. I think this really helps solidify the bond in that bonding area before they go in the cage. When they go in the cage, you sort of want the majority of their bonding to be done. It probably will take about 1 to 2 weeks post-bond for things to sort of stabilize and for any dominance behaviors to like come down to a regular level. but I definitely recommend keeping pigs in the pen overnight. I think a lot of people don't do this, and I think it can really help when the bond is a little bit unsure for them to solidify that overnight. So let's go ahead and hop into the footage, and I will talk to you guys basically about what happened, some of the behaviors I observed, and how I handled everything. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and hop into my bonding footage here. This is a neutral area. You always want to bond guinea pigs in a neutral space. I am currently bonding in my bedroom. I don't have guinea pigs in here. I don't bring guinea pigs in here, so it's a perfect neutral space. Also, everything in this bonding pen is neutral. I have cleaned my grids so that all the scent is gone. This is fresh fleece and everything. I am using a shower liner to protect my carpet. So these are all really, really important things when you bond. You also want to start off with no hides and just some hay in the middle. I will say an extra thing that I think helped during this bonding was I actually used meadow hay first off in the middle. So I normally feed orchard, but meadow is a little bit sweeter. It's more like a treat hay. So having that treat hay in the pen really helped distract them from any arguments. So let's go ahead and review the footage of their disputes, and I'll sort of give my thoughts on it. So everything started off fairly calm as soon as I put them in the pen. The biggest contenders here for the dominant position are going to be the alpha female Marshmallow and the neutered boar Cinnamon, who is the brown and white one in the middle right there. So they have a couple disputes here in the beginning, but as you see, Cinnamon de-escalates on his own. He doesn't like conflict. He wants to show that he's in charge, but he doesn't want it to get violent. He is very well behaved like that. So even here, as he's trying to hump Pepper, he doesn't take it to the next level. Here he backs down from Marshmallow. Here he backs down from Pepper once again. And so he just really, he's very calm. And I will say a lot of this reason the bond worked was because he was willing to back down from things. So there Marshmallow launched at him, but you'll see he did not pursue her. He let it go. They went back to eating. That was kind of the big show there, that Marshmallow was in charge of Sage. She was alpha female. And then here things started to get a little bit rowdier. So here there's like a three-way launch fight. So I went ahead and added some hay, sort of calmed them down. That right there. So what was happening in the small pen was that they were so cautious of each other. When one of them would move, it would spook the others, and then they would like bounce into each other and kind of freak out a little bit. But luckily after that, they were pretty much able to calm down and return to eating. And like I mentioned earlier, Cinnamon definitely wants to de-escalate things. He kind of wants to keep his back facing them. He will back down from them. You know, he doesn't want to start fights. So you see, like here, he does just sort of back away, try and not get involved in that. That was just sort of Marshmallow proving her status as, you know, the dominant female in the group. And then just, yep, her scaring them a little bit more then. It really overall was a pretty calm bond. Obviously, there are some launches from the dominant female Marshmallow and Cinnamon. But here you can see 3 hours in, they're all chilling. They are calm. They are laying down. They're just like napping and stuff. It was really, well, here, Cinnamon basically humped Pepper. And then here we're 6 to 7 hours in. This is where I added tunnels. And this was where you can really see that they overall are getting along. Cinnamon's thrilled. He's doing popcorns. Everyone is close to each other, like within inches of each other, and disputes are not happening. They're touching without fighting. They're able to back down from things. They're able to de-escalate things on their own. Here, Cinnamon walks right by Marshmallow. No issues at all. This is really what you want, where they're able to be close and interact without things escalating or turning into big fights. When they can de-escalate on their own, like there, Cinnamon just sort of backs off of Peanut. That's really what you want. Here, he's going to approach Marshmallow, but leave her alone. And this is really ideal here. Here's them waiting for their peppers. It was so freaking cute. This was when I basically knew this bond was a success, when they were able to de-escalate on their own and just, you know, 7 hours in, things are still solid. That is really what you want to see. And that's when I knew like this bond was going to work. All right, everyone. So it is now the next morning after I did the bonding, and I am just in such disbelief that it actually worked. I feel like the bonding failed so completely horribly the first time that I am just so shocked at how smooth and how easy it went the second time around. I mean, I'd always had this sort of gut feeling that their personalities would be compatible in the end, but just actually seeing them all get along and be together and it be one of the smoothest bonds I have done in a very long time is just so surprising and so fulfilling. And it's just like, it's just a really good moment for me to finally have them all together. I've always wanted a herd and now I get to have one. So it's unbelievable. I'm incredibly excited. And now it is time to move them into the cage. So previously their cages were side by side. It was a 2x6 beside a 2x8 L shape. And I'm going to be taking away that barrier and just combining the cages into one big U shape. So in the end, it will be about a 2x12, I want to say, which is about 37 square feet. I'm pretty sure I did that math right, but a 2x12, which is 37 square feet. That I think it's about 7 to 8 square feet per pig. There's going to be 5 of them. So I'm just so excited. There's going to be a lot of cleaning to be doing. So I'm going to clean out these cages and I'm going to deeply sanitize them because I do not want the scents in this cage. You'll have to remember these guinea pigs have been living on these pieces of chloroplast in their groups for like over a year now. So the chloroplast smells like them. Their scents are on the grids. Their scents are everywhere in these cages. So I'm going to be using 2 kinds of cleaners to actually sanitize these cages. So I will be using a white vinegar and water solution like I normally do. I will also be using a hardier cleaner called Rescue. You can purchase this off of Amazon. It's really made for like veterinarians and boarding facilities and rescues to like heavily, intensely clean and sanitize and like get rid of any diseases in the areas where they house their animals. So it's a very intense cleaner. It is expensive. It's like $60 for a bottle on Amazon, but you dilute it and then you can use the diluted version to clean. So that's what I'll be doing today. That with the vinegar, I think is really going to help get rid of the scents. I'm going to be cleaning the grids, the chloroplast, scrubbing. It's going to be scentless, ideally, by the time I put them in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cages, and then we will get started. So these are the 2 cages I was referring to. This is the 2x6 that previously housed my pair. This is the 2x8 L shape that housed my trio. So when I combine this entire U, it will be a plenty of space for them, and I will also remove this barrier in order to do that. Luckily, this cage is already set up and it's pretty minimal work to create their new cage. My main focus will be sanitizing. Not a single bit of fleece stuff will remain in here because I will be putting in all new fleece. I will be sanitizing all the chloroplast, all the bunk beds, all the grids. It just basically needs to smell like they've never set foot in here in their lives. So it's going to be a bit of a project, but this is a really important step, especially with these pigs. I do not want to risk this bond breaking as it was a surprising bond, and I don't want to risk anything with the cage. So it'll be time for a deep cleaning, and then after that, we will put them in. All right, everyone, I have finished the cage and I cannot be more excited. This thing is ginormous. So I have 2 litter boxes at opposite ends of the cage. I have one here, and then all the way on the other end, I have one here, and I've sort of blocked it off from my desk with this piece of fabric. And then I have multiple fleece forests. Since there's no really like corners in the cage, I had to like put grids out in the middle. So I have one here, and then I have this really long one over here, which I absolutely love. I think it looks so nice like this. I have a couple beds, another bed here, a tunnel. This is a brand new chewable tunnel I purchased. I have other tunnels that they can chew on, but they have their scent on them, and I'm trying to stay away from anything with their scent. So I just went ahead and used a new one. I'm going to add the tunnels from their bonding pen into here as well. The only thing is I don't really have any toys to give them. I don't have any new toys. All of my toys have been used in their cages previously. So I'll probably wait a little bit until their bond is more settled, and then I will introduce those toys and probably more hides as well. There's plenty of space in here for more hides. Like I said, I will be adding the tunnels from their bonding pen. However, I do just want to make sure that they can see each other, that they have time to get used to each other and adjust to the cage. Hopefully I've cleaned it well enough. Their scent is not on it. I have like literally scrubbed this thing multiple times with both cleaning solutions. Everything is like as clean as it could possibly be. So I'm gonna go get them. I do also still have to add water bottles. Those are in the playpen, in the bonding pen right now. But I'm in so much shock. Let me try and back up so you guys can see it all. It's huge. I don't even think you can see it all on the camera. There we go. So that is it. It is so wonderful. I am really in love. These patterns don't really go together, but it's just what I had clean. So I'm sure I can do some better cage themes in the future, but I'm gonna grab them, put them in here and see how it goes. Hopefully they should adjust just fine. They've been having no issues in the bonding pen from what I've been seeing. Some nipping and chasing here and there, but that is normal behavior as far as bonding. Even sometimes for my bonded pairs and trios, they do chase and nip even fully bonded. So it shouldn't be an issue. I'm gonna put them in here and see how it goes. I'm so excited. I literally cannot believe that I have a herd. I've waited so long for this. So let me go get them and then we'll see how they do. you all so much for watching today's video. I am so excited to finally have a herd. So yeah, I just cannot believe that this happened. I had a gut feeling that they would get along, but actually being able to see it happen and be able to succeed has been like a huge plus for me. As you all know, if you've been following my channel, I have had a lot of unsuccessful bonding lately, both my guinea pigs and my rabbits. And so it's just nice to have a successful bond and just have a herd. I'm so stoked, so excited. So if you guys are interested in seeing more content about my new herd, please subscribe, please like if you find this video helpful, if you think it might if you think it might be helpful to your bunnies in the future. If you also have any of your own bonding experience you want to share, please share that in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you again soon with another video. Bye-bye.